If you do not overcome your tendency to give up so easily, your life will lead to nothing. Most of the important things in the world have been accomplished by men who kept fighting when there seemed to be no hope at all.
Often, I am asked to motivate people. And what people are looking for when they want motivation is they're looking for a fire inside of them that makes them want to do hard things. And the reason they need motivation to do this is because they think hard is bad. They think this is hard and I need to be pushed to do this to avoid eternal slavery, to make money, whatever it is. This is hard and I need somebody to encourage me to do whatever it takes to get through it. It's amazing how God has linked difficulty and value. It is the hard things in life that are the best things in life. There is nothing in life which is valuable, which is not hard to obtain and hard to keep. That's why it has value in the first place. If gold was everywhere, nobody would care about gold. Difficulty, value are inextricably linked. So when you see something as hard, you see something as valuable, and you have to train your mind to be excited by hard things. To feel self-motivated, not externally, you're self-motivated by the chance to prove to God you deserve this hard thing. And the most beautiful thing about difficult things is that it deters a large contingent of the populace because most people are not ready for hard. When they see hard, they make excuses for why they don't want it anymore. When most people see hard, they shy away from it, which is extremely important because you only want the things you want because other people can't have them. You want that car because other people can't buy it. The Egyptians built the pyramid because it was hard. Men wanted to be the first people to sail the 7 seas and risk their lives, to cross Antarctica and risk freezing to death, to be the first person to do it so that everybody would say, wow, I bet that was hard. So people used to wake up and think of hard things they could possibly do. They'd wake up with a very fine and normal life, just like you are. You wake up, you have a bed, you have food, your life's fine. Some men are okay with that. Some men think, what is something hard I can do from here? You should feel fantastic when you're given a challenge. When hard is put in front of you, you should say, finally, God, finally you've given me something difficult. My life has been too easy for too long. I'm too capable to live such a meager existence and simply survive.
As a man, there is no easy life. If you're looking for an easy life, you should have been a girl. Your life is not about being easy. Your life is not about being happy. All of the pain you feel, you're supposed to feel as a man, and you have two effective binary choices. You either go through the suffering and go through the hardship it takes to be a man of value, or you suffer eternity as a nobody. You can have a very stress-free life if you work in Starbucks, you go home, you play video games, and you exist until you die. Alternatively, you can go out there into the world, try and implement your mark on the world, work hard, try to get rich, more money, more problems. You can lose your girlfriend because all you're doing is working. This is a new level of stress, a new level of trauma, but at least you'll be a somebody at the end of it.
Your success in life is directly correlated to the amount of stress you can deal with, and this is true. And when you look at cars or you look at jets or any of these things, how fast they can go is directly correlated to how much air is going to be pushing against them. The more successful you become, the more the opposite force is going to push against you. And most people get to a certain level and go, okay, that opposite force is too much.
Men only become good men through negativity. Men who have been through a lot of pain are very kind. The worst men on earth are the ones who haven't had enough pain. You're supposed to suffer as a man. You're born to suffer. You're not supposed to get rich off a fucking stupid meme coin without doing any work. You're supposed to suffer. And the best men are the ones who suffered the most. I wouldn't be top G if I didn't suffer more than anyone else. Because you're not what happens to you. You are how you react to it. And the best men on earth are men who have had their parents die, their girl betray them, their money stolen, robbed. And every time something happened to them, they sat there and they looked in the mirror and said, what can I learn from this? How can I stop this happening? Those are the men respect. Those are the men women want. Why do women love scars? Look, they tried to kill him and they can't. That's why I want him. Lots of people are going through the world trying to get experiences, but they're so obsessed with getting the positive experiences that they never really experience life at all. People go through life and they say, I want to make money on a crypto coin, and I want to get rich, and then I want to get a beautiful girlfriend, I want to go on a boat in Miami, and all this positive, but there's no light without dark. If you have not experienced true misery and pain, you'll never ever be happy. So if you're going through life as a man and you're looking for experiences over comfort, which is what the great explorers of the world have always done, because they weren't looking for comfort. Comfort's at home. I love the negative experiences along with the positive experiences. I love jail because it's an experience. My bedroom is beautiful once again, like it's never been before. Everyone's obsessed with the positive experiences. I believe every man should be choosing to do something which is extremely hard, which they hate, which sucks, because you don't appreciate life at all without it. You always want a higher high, but I promise you, the high you're at is fine if you balance it with a little bit of low. Constantly chasing higher highs is hedonism, which ends in one place. It always ends in a spiral, a downward spiral. You need to artificially manufacture some lows. I chose fighting because fighting will do that for you. It's hard, it's stressful, you win, you lose, you get hurt, you go hospital. There's a lot of negatives in it. There's not enough negatives in men's lives today. People say, I've had a traumatic life. I say, well, then you're very, very fortunate. You had a traumatic life. Now, you may have misused that trauma. You may have accepted the matrix telling you that you now have an excuse to fail. But every single man of value went through trauma. It's going to be painful to get strong, painful to get rich. Your heart's going to get broken a bunch of times. You have to be prepared for the pain. If you're not ready for pain, you're never going to be anything that matters. When men say to me they're depressed, with the capability to become anything you desire, with God giving you a full and able body and mind, how do you have time to be depressed? There's so much that you need to do to be your best self, and you're competing against men like me, and you're finding hours a day to be sad? No wonder you're going to perpetually lose forever. It's brutally ineffective. Because I believe as a man, chasing happiness is probably the most asinine thing you can do. It's the easiest way to lose as a man is to chase happiness. And really the only thing that's fun in life is work. The only thing that's fun is the thing that made you rich in the first place. Life is just, it's a game. We're living in a simulation, and if you want a high score, you have to choose the highest difficulty. So I want a high score. And if life is perfect all the time, you don't appreciate anything. I actually think one of the worst lives you can have is a life where everything goes right all of the time. If you're spoiled to that degree, especially as a man, as soon as you reach any kind of difficulty, you're going to crumble. And I do not pray for an easy life. I pray for a difficult life with difficult challenges to solve and being strong enough to handle them. If you really want an exceptional life and to do exceptional things, you can't only hope for the positive exceptional. The only reason you appreciate being rich is because you were poor. If you were born rich, you don't appreciate it. The only reason you appreciate being in good health is because you were once sick. If you've never experienced sickness, you don't know what health is. There is no light without dark. Think about the biggest transformative stages in your life. Think about the times you got the most work done. It was a bad part of your life. There is a huge percentage of the populace which they're beyond saving because they're the worst thing you can possibly be, which is a quitter. God himself can't make a quitter important. Because the only reason the place you're trying to get to has value is because it was difficult to reach. Value is linked to scarcity. So if you're the kind of person who quits, you're never going to get there. Quitters are the worst. And it's hyper competitive out here. All the women want a few men at the top. You don't want a Ferrari to drive fast. You want a Ferrari because other men want a Ferrari and can't have one. It's hyper competitive. So if you're competing against every other man for every dollar you make, the car you drive, the life you live, you're not going to be able to compete with the person who performs regardless of how they feel if you only compete when you feel like competing. I think that as a man, there's always going to be a degree of pain and suffering in your journey. I don't think you're ever going to become a successful man or be good at being a man without pain and suffering. And many times in my life where something terrible happened to me, and at the time, if I could change it, I would have. But retrospectively, you kind of look back and go, you know what? That is what God decided I needed to become who I became. I started at the absolute lowest echelon of life, and I would like to consider myself pretty somewhere near the top now. So when I say to men, you can become anything you want, and my answer to you is masculine excellence, there's no other answer. I can't tell you how to rig the game and cheat the game. You have to get a better character to play this game of life. For many of the world's problems today, sexual access, being respected by your peers, making sure that your wife's going to stay with you, being happy, anything, it all comes down to who you are as a man. The only answer is masculine excellence. There's nothing you can do besides hard work, accept the trauma and pain and suffering, and work harder than everyone else around you worked. What did Napoleon say?
He said, glory is fleeting, but obscurity is forever.
When he says fleeting, that's a really good point, because everything in life is rented. When you have a good body, it is not a good body as complete. You have rented that good physical condition. You must train every day to retain it.
God doesn't like lazy people. God has created you, and he wants to see the absolute best you can be. I think that taking care of yourself and being the best possible version of yourself you can be is how you please God. I think that's one of the best ways to praise him, is to wake up every day and say, I need to be the strongest, smartest, most fearsome, most capable man I can possibly be. This is how I please God. But when I come along and say, I am a man, and I know how it feels to be a sad man and a happy man, and I found happiness through masculine achievement and strength, through dedicating myself, through building a life worth living, through becoming financially successful, through being a man of honor and courage.
And this is what people really don't yet understand. There's only one thing on the planet you actually have control over. The only thing you can actually really truly control is what you think. So why are you not controlling your own mind? It's your asset. It's your friend. Why would you make an enemy out of the only thing you have control over? The worst thing on earth that could happen to a man could happen to me. And I guarantee you, I would still label myself happy.
Discipline is the key to success. If you cannot force yourself to do something you don't want to do, how are you ever going to put yourself through the suffering required for greatness?
I mean, if you have the mentality that you're born to suffer, I think you'll be pretty good at things. If you're born with the mentality that nobody should suffer, you're always going to be shit at things. I understand that I was born to suffer. A lot of people have said to me, you're under stress. Like, how do you deal with it? How do you smile? This is nothing. I was built to suffer. I wake up every day and go, what's on the menu? I'm so used to it. I'm kind of excited by it.
A lot of people say, I have confidence issues. And I say, if I was you, I would have confidence issues. You have to be absolutely and utterly realistic because the world is brutal and it's harsh. If you're not proud of yourself, you probably don't deserve to be proud of yourself, so you're not going to feel happy. And you just talked about confidence. Confidence comes from competence. The reason I'm confident is because I'm good at everything. The things I'm not good at, I'm not confident in, of course, and I know what they are. I don't do them very often. I either hire or I just don't want to do it. I do what I'm good at. So, yeah, I'm absolutely and utterly confident because I'm absolutely and utterly competent, and that takes practice and discipline and motivation, and you need to fail a few times, you need to get up. That's how it comes down to. And when people say, I have confidence issues, usually I can look them up and down and say, yeah, if I was you, I would completely and utterly struggle with confidence issues. So of course you have confidence issues when you can be annihilated in real time by the competitor. If I'm unhappy with something and I'm uncomfortable with something, that I fix it. That's endless motivation, which I don't truly believe in as a concept, but that's endless fuel for the fire. I would be able to take all of that discomfort and turn it into endless energy to get the problem fixed. These people seem to sit and say, I'm really unhappy with X, but then stay doing X. So I don't believe they're truly actually unhappy. What you'll notice if you live life long enough is that somebody will sit and say to you, I'm unhappy being a loser. I just sit at home and play video games 7 days a week. And maybe 3 days of the week they're unhappy doing that. But 4 days of the week doesn't really bother them. Because if it bothered them 7 days a week, guess what?
They would fix it. Yeah.
So I have very little sympathy for people. And that's not because I'm not a nice person, but it's because I've been so hard on myself and I've been through so much pain and trauma myself, some of it self-inflicted, some of it given to me by God to make me a better person. Why would I feel pity for somebody who took the easy route when I took the hardest possible route?
I also think that once you understand all of the bad things and good things that come into your life are a perfect plan from God himself, you're going to be a lot less affected by the bad things. In the end, you're going to be happy it happened. I often ask people, is there anything bad that's happened to you in the past at the time you were distraught about that you now wish didn't even happen? And truthfully, you're like, no, I'm kind of glad it all happened because of, right? If you know in a year from now you'll be glad it happened, why be upset about it happening now? You have to be cerebral enough about things. I think the unhappiest people in the world don't have any struggle at all. Perhaps the people who are born with a trust fund and unlimited money and have no struggles in their life, and they have no objectives to try and conquer, are truly the miserable ones. Perhaps the human mind and soul and spirit is built to struggle. Perhaps we're built to suffer. I think that getting rich when you're young as a man is probably one of the worst things that can happen. You want to spend all your 20s broke, grinding, training, being funny, being interesting. That's what you need to do. That's how I grew up. If I had money at 18, 19, I would have skipped so many experiences and so many hard lessons. I'd be a fraction of the man I am today. That's the worst thing that can happen to a young man. He's skipping all the struggle, all the pain and suffering he's going to attempt to skip with money. He's going to end up suffering more in the end. Would you play a video game if it was easy? If you could never die? I mean, cheats get boring pretty quick. That's the whole point of it. You're supposed to struggle with it. You're supposed to suffer with it. So I think a lot of people confuse these things and they sit and say, this is merely making me unhappy, or if I woke up and everything was just perfect, that'd be great for a few weeks. But if you just wake up and nothing ever goes wrong, I think that'd be quite depressing in its own way.
As a man, you can be anything you decide you want to be. That's the beauty of being a male. You can build your character completely from the ground up, just like a video game. I was not born a world champion kickboxer. I was not born this intelligent or intellectual. I was not born this rich. I was not born this confident. I was not born none of these things. I became these things myself, so I deserve all the spoils of war. And anybody who decides they don't want to work hard enough to become those things, then they deserve to sit and accept they're my inferior. When I didn't have enough money to buy whatever I wanted, I couldn't fall asleep at night. because I understood there are people out there that did, and I didn't see them as better than me. And it bothered me to the point where I could not sleep. I have had a very painful life. I still think to a degree I do, but I can't imagine living any other way. I can't imagine living in this